me out. You're the one I've been dreaming about for my whole life. Had you on my mind, oh. Hear the sound of your voice in the crowd calling.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another month of Workshop Wednesdays. I am Chanel. I'm going to be your host today, but I'm also the founder and CEO of Mentor Me Collective, where we are on a mission to empower first-generation individuals with knowledge, skills, and confidence needed to pursue passions, achieve dreams, and make a positive impact on society. We're super excited for this month. As you know, every month on Workshop Wednesdays, we have different themes. And this June, we are kicking off with social media. It's called Social Surge, leaning into careers and also continuous learning opportunities for those of you who are interested in personal branding, social media, digital marketing, product marketing. We even have some folks that are within, I believe, the gaming industry, and excited to talk about what that looks like from a social media standpoint as well. So today we have two dynamic sessions. Obviously, one today or now at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have another one happening later on today at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as well. So please take a moment to let me know where you all are tuning in from. Drop that in the chat. If you're excited for today, let me see some fire emojis as well. We can't wait to see you all in the chat, letting us know where you're tuning in from and if you are excited for today. Please make sure that you put your name in the chat. And if you are a scholar, we really want to see that as well. So please go ahead and do that. While I take some time just to tell you a little bit more about what you can expect from us today, and also just throughout, this month. Like I said, and if you all have been rocking with us, I should say, you know that since the beginning of this year, every Wednesday has been a workshop. So today we have a special guest. I will tell you a little bit more about that wonderful and incredible person. But please, if you will, just go ahead and drop an emoji, a fire emoji, if you are excited about what we're going to lean into today. All right. So today we're diving into Amplify Your Voice, crafting magnetic content, and modern marketing strategies. We're going to explore how to create compelling content that truly resonates and how to deploy modern marketing strategies to ensure that your voice is heard loud and clear in a crowded digital landscape. We know that having a great product or a brilliant idea is only half the battle. The ability to communicate your value effectively and strategically reach your audience is really paramount. So this session will provide those tools and insights needed to craft content that captivates and markets your strategies, hopefully showing a conversion with that as well. So now let me introduce our exceptional speaker, Anuradha. I hope I'm even saying that right, so definitely correct me if not. But she is a renowned content strategist and digital marketing expert with a profound understanding of how to build strong brands and engage communities through impactful communication. With extensive experience across various industries, Anuradha empowers individuals and organizations to harness the power of storytelling and data-driven marketing to achieve their goals. She is passionate about helping others find and amplify their unique voice in the digital age. So, without further ado, please drop some fire emojis in the chat. Let's welcome Anuradha. How are you?
I'm doing great, Chanel. It's Anuradha. It's so nice to have you in this session. I'm very glad to meet you over here. I'm a huge fan of Mentor Me Collective, so it's great to be here.
That is amazing. And I'm excited to have you too. We literally were just talking about how we're both from women tech makers in that space. So I'm excited to also dig a little deeper later on to talk more about that. But I definitely wanted to just get your thoughts quickly. So would love for you to tell me, I guess, what is your favorite part? Or maybe like your favorite Yeah, I guess you can say that. Your favorite part of being in marketing. Is there like a specific technique or like a specific tool that you love to use so much, and would love to kind of learn a little bit more about that?
Being in marketing, like the most important thing and something that I love the most is like community building, like building a community of people and connecting with them. Like the intent is not to just get the product out in the market and just market about it or do the advertisement. The intent in the end of the day is connecting with people who last for a longer time as like a great connection where you can get back to them and rely on them. So having those great people as your connections and like being able to showcase yourself as the best friend is something I love doing for brands while working as a marketing person over there. Even like working as an event manager at it. So trying to create those events that not just are an event where they'll just come, sit and go, but something that provides the experience.
I think that is so beautiful. And obviously, like, community is super huge here as well. So I definitely had that resonate with me. But without further ado, I'm super excited for our community to get to know you a little bit more. So over to you.
So, hello everyone. This is Workshop Wednesday. My name is Anuradha Tibile. I'm an event manager at TED, and today we are going to learn how to amplify your voice, crafting magnetic content, and marketing strategies. Without further ado, let's begin with the slides. So, what is the power of content psychology? Over 3 billion TED Talks are viewed every time, and so here we are trying to understand how the impact of TED Talks, which have been viewed by 3 billion people and 3 billion times, like showcasing their effectiveness in an engaging audiences. So like 8.5 billion daily Google searches. So what basically happens is that we have come to a notice where Google processes a whooping 8.5 billion searches each day. And there is a common content psychology formula that both TED Talks and Google rely on, which is a shared formula on content psychology to captivate and retain their audiences, proving their universal effectiveness. So, without further ado, let's dive deep into it. Now, what is the neurological hijack? So, while you're working in marketing or you're in startup or you are just trying to build a brand for yourself, first you need to understand the neurological framework of it. So, there is reptilian brain, there is limbic brain, there is neurocortex. So the reptilian brain is like the survival thing. So in the first 7 seconds, it tries to capture attention with threat urgency and curiosity gaps to engage the audience basic instincts. The limbic brain is responsible for the emotions. So from seconds 8 to 30, it tries to connect emotionally through storytelling, relatability, and social proof to build trust and connection. When it comes to neocortex, it is mostly based on logic. So after 30 seconds, what happens is we present a well structured framework data and actionable steps to appeal logical reasoning and decision making. Understand how we can get these things done through the EATS framework, which is okay. Yeah, so each framework is expertise, authority, trust, and story. So here E stands for expertise, which is like expertise in framing problems. So you need to leverage your knowledge to present context-rich problems and try to showcase an understanding and relevance to your audience. when you show these kind of things where you're trying to provide them with content which is rich in problems, like when you try to understand their problem, when you try to frame those problems, is when you can understand how it can be relevant to your specific target audience. Then next step is to establish authority effectively. So you need to share your unique perspective rather than just credentials, offering insights and resonate with your audience needs. So if I'm just trying to share credentials with you, if I'm just trying to offer insights, like that doesn't work. When I have a unique perspective of myself that establishes an authority for myself effectively, which can then resonate with my audience's needs. Third is to build trust through authenticity. So when you try to embrace vulnerability and open communication to create a genuine connection with your audience, it enhances their loyalty. Fourth is craft a compelling story. So when you try to utilize a neurological story structure that incorporates emotional peaks, engaging your audience on a deeper level. Now, let's see how this actually works. So, have you ever wondered that any TED talk you look at is of 18-minute framework? So, why is it an 18-minute format, and what is this time attention matrix? So, in the first to sixth minute is your hook zone. What basically is this hook zone? So, in a hook zone, we try to captivate the audience with compelling openings and dopamine inducing techniques where we ensure maximum engagement during the initial moments of the talk. Then comes the next 7 to 12 minutes, the retention valley. In this time period, the attention may plummet by 67%, necessitating strategies like the callback technique and interactive engagement to maintain interest. So here, what you need to do is you will have to stick to the callback technique, since the attention of the people might decrease with time. Then comes the commitment peak, where in like the last 13 to 18 minutes, this is the optimal moment for impactful calls to actions and memory consolidation, where decision making processes are activated. So what they basically do is in the first to sixth minute or first to fifth minute, you try to create a hook, you try to give them a dopamine hit due to which they are engaged in the whole conversation. In the retention valley, in the middle phase, you are trying to give them a callback, you're trying to make it interesting, engaging, so they try to maintain the interest as you talk. And then comes the commitment peak, where we try to give them some call to actions and a memory consolidation, where it can impact their decision making processes and it helps them think deeply about it. Now, what are the speaker's hidden toolkits? So first is gesture GPS, which is the hand movements, where you try to utilize specific hand movements to emphasize key points, helping to create a visual connection with your audience and reinforce your message. Then comes vocal variance protocol, where voice modulation. So while you try to implement voice modulation patterns to maintain engagement and convey emotions, it ensures that your delivery resonates with your listeners. Then comes the stage geometry. So optimal positions is a kind of thing where you try to discover how to stand on the stage, strategically use the space to create an impactful presence and foster a stronger connection with your audience. This is what basically happens while talking on a platform. Now, what is the viral content code? So for me and you who is not getting an opportunity to just stand up and go on a stage without building a brand, while you're trying to still build a brand, how to understand the viral content code to amplify your content and to strategize it. First comes vulnerability quotient. So optimal vulnerability ratio is 30% struggle and 70% triumph. So the audiences connect with scars and not scars. So basically, it shows that vulnerability quotient is like people want to know about your struggles. It doesn't want to it doesn't necessarily want to know about your fancy or glorious glamorous life. Sometimes they just want to know how you got there, what were your struggles, how can they also get there. So that is one factor. Next comes the inside destiny. So one counterintuitive insight every 3 minutes. So Google's algorithm rewards the aha moment frequency. Whenever you try to give your audience an aha moment, that is when they feel connected to your content. And that brings to our very next factor, which is the relatability bridge. So the human experience as connection points, the me too movement engineering fosters engagement. Basically, in generation Z, like in Gen Z and the upcoming generations, Gen Alpha, what you will try to see in the current content scenario is that everyone wants relatable content. While anyone is scrolling through Instagram Reels, sharing Reels, the first thing they think while sharing a reel is it relatable to me? Is it related to the person I'm sharing to? So that is the main thing to focus on while you're creating a content for anything to go well. Next is actionability coefficient. So specific steps are greater than generic advice. The 2-minute implementation rule enhances the usability. So when you try to be very specific and try to get some strategies implemented while creating content instead of just randomly creating something, it helps you a lot to be more efficient in what you're trying to do. Then comes the loop activation. So content that makes you want to share it, the I have to tell someone about this trigger encourages virality. So whenever you try to create an content which can create a loop between your audience, so whenever they look at it, they have this feeling where they want to share it to someone else. Search prediction model, which is a framework for predictive content. So let's understand how to anticipate content performance using the search model. What is search? Now let's break it down. So here S stands for search intent alignment, U stands for user behavior prediction, R stands for relevance momentum, G stands for growth multiplier factors, and E stands for engagement sustainability. So let's break it down one by one each. So first, let's try and understand search intent alignment. So what it basically does is like we need to focus on the underlying reason behind the user searches. By mapping emotional journeys and identifying intent gaps, we can create content that truly meets user needs. So once you try to understand how your audience behaves is what the users are searching, that tries to map the whole emotional journey, and that can help us identify their intent gaps. Next comes user behavior prediction. So you need to analyze the metrics such as bounce rates within the first 15 seconds scroll depth and engagement patterns to optimize content for immediate user interactions. So most of the social media platforms these days provide an complete guide. If you have an professional or creator account, they give you this whole graph momentum. So build topical authority and leverage cross-platform content strategies to maintain relevance. Conducting trend intersection analysis helps in aligning content with current topics of interest. So you need to spot the trends. Like that has been all throughout. Like we all know that we need to keep up with the trends. We need to understand what are the current topics of interest and then plan accordingly. So it needs to be relevant to the current momentum. Next comes growth multiplier factors. So you need to identify shareability coefficients and optimize the comment to view ratio. Utilize platform specific amplification triggers to enhance content reach and engagement. So basically, after you have understood the relevant things that are going on, you have detected the trends that are out there. Now you need to understand how you can multiply this, how you can multiply the growth by the comment to view ratio. Here we try to utilize platform specific amplifications. Like each platform has its different amplification triggers, and we use that to enhance our content reach and engagement. Then comes engagement sustainability, where we try to focus on predicting long term engagement, extending content shelf life, and amplifying evergreen transformation formulas to keep content relevant over time. So whenever you try to create content, you also try to focus on the long term engagement factor, right? So it doesn't get irrelevant after a specific period of time. So you need to focus on predicting the long term engagement factor and also extend the shelf life of that content. That can be done only when you know and understand how much effective it is after you have analyzed all of these factors. Now, moving on with the next slide. Now, let's try to master the content ecosystem. So, strategies for dominance. So, phase one is your curiosity cultivation, where you try to search suggestion psychology enhances user engagement. Query gap identification reveal unmet information needs, and knowledge hunger amplification drives user to seek more content. Basically what happens is we'll have to first understand where our audience has their curiosity. Like when you try to trigger their curiosity point, you can observe this in most of the Instagram or TikTok content, where people try to create an hook in the first 5 seconds. That is how the curiosity works. When you give them a dopamine hit, when you tell them about things they need to know, so you need to search the suggested psychology that enhances their user engagement. You need to identify the query gap that reveals unmet informational needs. So that you can just phrase it like, these are the things you didn't know about Google. So that's how the needs are met. Like you try to give them or feed them with information where there is an information gap, or like an gap identification that shows that something is unmet in their needs. Next is knowledge hunger amplification. So everyone is hungry for knowledge. They want to know more about things. Everyone who is passionate about knowing things, they try to seek more content, and that's how you can use it for your own benefit. Next comes phase two, where you try to understand how content consumption optimization works. So attention span extension techniques keeps user focused. Information processing enhancement aids comprehension, and cognitive load management reduces user overwhelm. Basically, in this part, what you try to do is how you can optimize things. We all know about search engine optimization. Similarly, we have generative engine optimization also as well right now. So SEO, GEO is something any brand has to know and cope up with these days to understand how their content will be reached at all the levels of the market. Then comes behavior modification. In this phase, what all factors that contribute is search habit engineering encourages repeat visits, information dependency creates fostered loyalty, and platform ecosystem lock-in secures user engagement. Basically, here we try to modify our content based on the behavior engagement that we have got. So after you get your engagement metrics, after you get that report, now you know on what kind of information, of what type of content your audience is depending upon, and what content has more amount of loyal viewers or spectators which are repetitive. So according to that, now you can plan your ecosystem, you can plan how you can secure that user engagement by creating more of such content. Moving on with the next slide. Let's try to understand the content systems. So first is one search leads to 17 searches. So when you try to look at an user as a normal citizen, the first thing that you might understand is that each user search initiates a chain of related search queries showcasing their interest. Basically, if you go and Google something saying maybe, I like carrots or something like that, so it will give you some other queries related to the fruit or related to the same kind of thing that you searched for. So one search leads to 17 searches, and now that creates an ecosystem interconnection. So content is linked in a complex ecosystem, influencing user decisions and paths. Basically, once you get to know what they're trying to search, what are the related searches, you know what is the ecosystem connected with the interconnection, like how the content is linked in a complex ecosystem. So you know how that is going to influence the user's decisions and paths. Now what we try to do is we try to understand user journey orchestration. So basically map the user's path, and which allows for tailored content delivery and enhance engagement. Then we try to reverse engineer strategies. So we try to understand the system enable marketers to tailor their content strategies effectively. So first you understand what they're trying to search, then you try to understand what could be the other relevant searches related to it, then you try to understand how this user is creating a path and like map those paths, and then you try to reverse engineer the strategies based on what the user wants and needs. And this can be done by maximizing search efficiency. Once you reverse engineer the strategies, create effective list of content strategies, it can help in maximizing search efficiency, which is like utilize related searches, optimizes content reach and user satisfaction. So once you create efficient like you utilize the related searches that you have got through the collected data, it optimizes the content reach and you get user satisfaction as a bonus. Now, after that, finally, we try to adapt to user needs, and content strategies must evolve based on user journey insights for better alignment. So it's not that you create the best strategies out there for this specific kind of content, and now you are going to use the same strategies for every content you create for every week, every season. That doesn't work. You need to align, you need to adapt, and you need to keep on changing and evolving the content strategies based on the journey of your user insights, and that can help in the better alignment of your brand. Now moving on with the next slide. Let's try to unlock the predictive content strategies. As mentioned before, first comes the search intent. So 75% of users prefer content that aligns with the search intent, highlighting the need for targeted strategies. Basically, if I am searching for a product, if I'm searching for some makeup beauty brand product, and if I am getting content related to it, I'm gonna like the same kind of content. So the search intent, it's something that is we need to highlight here, and we can understand how to strategize things further. Then comes the bounce rate. So predicting 60% of users who bounce from a page can help refine user behavior strategies. So not just analyzing what they're searching more, but also understanding what can bounce the user, like what kind of pages are they bouncing, and that helps us refine the user behavior. Then comes topical relevance. So achieving 80% of topical relevance accelerates your site's authority and improves search visibility. Then comes shareability, where content with 50% shareability factors significantly boost your growth multiplier in social media. So when the like this is very basic, this is logical, we all know these things. Next comes long-term engagement, which is 90% of engaged users return, showcasing the impact of engagement sustainability on retention. Now, these are like the basic factors that we all know contribute to our content strategies. Now, moving on to the things that we need to know about content strategies that we need to follow, that can help us activate potential breeds. So, as mentioned earlier, there are like 3 types of ways in which the brain functions. So, first, we need to do a neurological audit, activating those brains. So, in this process, we identify which brains we are activating, ensuring we engage the right neural pathways for optimal learning and growth. Then, as we discussed earlier, viral DNA injection. So once we try to implement the viral DNA code that we mentioned earlier, in this step, we try to focus on adding the missing genetic markers to our approach, enhancing the overall effectiveness of our strategy. And then finally, we have search algorithmic optimization. So by optimizing our content with the search algorithm, we ensure it is Google proofed and making it more accessible and effective for our audience. Yeah. So now we have influence multiplier system. So what is 10x influence multiplier system? Let's try and understand this. There are basically 5 levels to it. In the first level, we try to understand how the personal magnetism works. Next is content ecosystem. Then we try to build a community and community orchestration. Then you have the platform partnership. Then you can move on to the cultural penetration. First, let's start with the basics. So first level is personal magnetism. So you need to harness your unique perspective to establish authentic authority and foster connections based on vulnerability, making you more relatable and influential. So when you try to establish at something or someone who has its own unique perspective, you bring your own ideas to the table. Now that's something that interests people, that's something that people look forward to when they want to have a conversation. So you need to have that magnetic field inside yourself where you can create conversation, you can attract the people's minds, and you can create a conversation that keeps them hooked. So first comes personal magnetism. So have your unique perspective. Next is content ecosystem. So expand your stories across multiple platforms while amplifying cross references and create a rich content universe that captivates your audience. So creating a content ecosystem is very important. I could be very active on one particular platform and I am not at all active on the other platform. So that is something where my content and my niche is not growing as such. You need to focus on creating an ecosystem. So if I'm trying to convey a story professionally on LinkedIn platform, maybe I can be a bit informal and try to convey it more creatively on other platforms like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, etc. So here what I'm trying to basically do is I'm trying to expand that stories and I'm trying to put in on the multiple platforms in their own content styles. Like YouTube can be a long form content and Instagram can be a short form content. So according to the format, I'll change the content and then create an ecosystem of the content. Next comes community orchestration. So you need to transform your audience into passionate advocates, accelerate user generated content, and build momentum for your moment through community engagement. So first comes your own unique perspective. Now you have your perspective. Now you have also built your content ecosystem. You're on all the platforms. You're creating great content. Now what next? You need to build community of people. When I say community of people, it is not building a fan following, it is not building followers, it is not building subscribers. It is building community of people who believe in you, who have a faith in you, that you are a person they can rely on for this particular form of content. When I say building a community, it is more of like building a cult than a follower or fan base. So when you try to transform your audience to a cult following, where they are passionate advocates and they want to, know more about things that you're posting, this accelerates the user generated content on your platform as well, and it creates a momentum. So basically it helps you to not just get a great community engagement, but this stays along for a long time. Then comes platform partnerships. This is something people focus on before creating the level 2 and 3. So basically what people try to do is they create level 1 and they directly skip on to level 4 and trying to get partnerships, but without the level 2 and 3, without creating a content ecosystem, without creating and community orchestration, it is very hard to reach platform partnerships. So in this stage, what we basically try to do is we try to develop strategies for algorithmic alliances, optimize content for specific platforms, and master the integration of your ecosystem for maximum reach. Basically according to the particular platforms, you are trying to create content according to it, relevant to it, according to its own frames and etc. So after that you get the relevant partnerships, also you get your brand relevance as well. Next comes cultural penetration. Embed your ideas into collective conciseness using memification techniques and create legacy content that resonates across generations. So finally, we come on to the level 5, which is cultural penetration. So right now, you have Gen Z, you have Gen Alpha. So you need to create content that is relevant, that is relatable, and something that connects with the current audience who are gonna be watching on the platforms relevant to wherever you're posting. So we see a cultural divide of memification techniques. So from big brands like the giants to like the small startups, everyone is trying to cope up with the meme culture, where they create memes and they post according to relevant to the audience, which feels relatable, because as said before, the more relatable you make it, the more it is going to reach people. And also create legacy content. So basically something which is unique and catches their attention, that creates a like, it should be something that creates a legacy. So when you try to understand this whole cultural divide and create content according to it, it resonates across generations. The magnetic content DNA sequence. So as we discussed earlier, it's the same thing. 30% struggle, 70% drive, one insight, 3 minutes, 100% relatability, and actionability and share activation. So as discussed earlier, vulnerability quotient is about 30% struggle. I wouldn't like to know about how a person suddenly got so rich or is already born with a golden spoon. I want to know the struggle behind it. I want to know how I as a commoner can get there. So that is a factor that contributes to great content. Then comes 70% triumph, where you often try to showcase successful content, which often highlights the victories and the resolutions to it. Insight driven content is something I look most of the times when I'm scrolling through my feed. So insight delivery is basically one counterintuitive insight every 3 minutes. So that keeps your audience engaged and it encourages continual learning for people who come back to learn something new. Then is 100% relatability in any kind of content you are creating. The most important factor, as I said and I keep saying, it's relatability. Then comes actionability, where you try to focus on specific steps instead of generic advice increase, which increases the accountability coefficient here, and it leads to better audience outcomes. Then comes the share activation loop, where it stimulates sharing, expanding reach, and engagement exponential. So now let's try to understand what is the future of content in 2025 to 2026. So the predictions we have got so far for the content evolution are the following. So there is a prediction that in the coming years, like for the next year, until next year, we'll have like these 4 trends which could be the future of the content. First is the AI collaboration era that drives innovation. So this era focuses on human AI content co-creation, enhancing creativity through emotional intelligence amplification and creativity augmentation techniques to produce engaging and relevant content. You might have seen that most of the big giants at their events, at their workshops, they are trying to get new AI models. They are trying to create more, something that is related to AI. So this era is basically going to focus on human AI content co-creation. So we are trying to focus more on the emotional intelligence amplification here, and also how we can creatively, find out creative augmentation techniques as well. Now, next comes micro experience economy that reshapes the content delivery. So here, emphasizing 15-second transformation content, this approach supports instant implementation formats and micro learning optimization catering to fast paced audience preferences. Basically, in this kind of technique where it is micro experience economy, the attention span of the people has reduced, and so we try to emphasize on the 15-second transformation content. So your content must have a hook that hooks your audiences in like the first 15 seconds, and this approach supports the instant implementation formats. Third comes authenticity verification systems that ensure trust in content. So utilizing real-time authenticity detection. So here these systems implement vulnerability validation algorithms and trust score optimization to enhance content credibility and reliability. Basically, here what we try to do is we try to utilize the real-time authenticity detection factor. So how much is the audience trying to engage, like the real-time content that we are posting out there? What is the authenticity, how they are trying to detect the authenticity of the content, and what are few of the vulnerability validation algorithms. Basically, if I am going through a lot of anxiety reels, so it tries to give me more of those kind of content, right? So here we try to analyze those kind of vulnerability validation algorithms that are out there. Also the trust score optimization, where you try to understand how the people and what are they trusting more while there are content out there. So through all of these three, we'll try to enhance content credibility and reliability after analyzing these factors. Then comes revolutionizes engagement. This innovative technology enables brain computer content consumption, facilitating thought to content translation and fostering direct neural engagement for immersive experiences. Basically, in 2025, 2026, we'll see a trend where the innovative technologies are coming, as we all know, and so we'll see trends like brain computer content consumption, where it has already started. We all know about metaverse, and it's out there. They have already created a lot of new things. Even Google recently launched a lot of cool stuff that we all must have taken a glance at. Also, thought to content translation, direct neural engagement. So all of these, neural network connections, all of those kind of neural related content are going to be in the trend in the coming years. Now, let's try to decode all of this, the magnetic content blueprint, and how the implementation phase is going to be like while creating content. So, first phase is the foundation. So, day 1 to 7, I'll try to focus on neurological profiling, where you try to understand which brain activation is needed for which kind of content. What are the people searching, what are the related searches to it. So it is going to be, so basically, while starting a brand of your own, while you're starting your content creation, first you'll try to focus on the foundation and the neurological profiling of the people, and we'll try to audit the current content through a 3 brain activation lens as discussed previously, and identify the viral DNA gaps and mapping audiences psychological triggers. Again, whenever you see any ad in the market, the first thing like you need to know is that there are people out there who are trying to understand how your brains works, like the psychological things, like how it's going to impact your brain and your decision making powers. So you need to know the psychological triggers of your audiences while creating any kind of content. So in the first phase, in day 1 to 7, we'll try to analyze all of these things. Then comes phase 2, optimization, which is day 8 to 21, which covers content transformation by applying the search prediction model and optimizing for each framework. Then comes amplification, which is like day 22 to 30, which involves influence expansion by deploying the 10x influence multiplier system, activating community orchestration, and launching ecosystem integration. Now, let's try to understand the content revolution that we have went through. So the old content world, in the past, the content creators relied on creating, guessing and hoping and copying and pasting. Basically, one creator might have created something, and so another creator would just copy paste it, or like they are trying to do the same kind of thing, and it did usually get them success. This reactive approach often led to mediocre results and missed opportunities as well. Now, what is the new content reality that we might have missed upon? So, today's successful content creation is about engineering and predicting, analyzing and optimizing, and innovating and dominating. Basically, this is a proactive strategy that empowers creators to craft impactful content. So when I try to engineer and then predict the reaction of my audience, that is how it's going to be more impactful. When I try to analyze and then optimize my content according to it, when I try to innovate my own ideas, and then I'll know how it is going to dominate my field. This is how you need to strategize your content in 2025. So your revolutionary oath for this year should be, as a content creator, pledge to use these secrets responsibly. Create content that elevates consciousness and shares knowledge that empowers others, and also build bridges, not walls, with your content. The moment of truth is here. So decide whether to be just another content creator or to become a content revolutionary. The tools and knowledge are at your fingertips, and to lead this transformative charge, you need to try to get things on your own and try to understand how you're going to lead this way. So you're not just creating content anymore, you're engineering human consciousness. Use this power wisely, and the world will never be the same. My time over me, and then we could have a conversation further. That's my time.
Okay, that was amazing. If you all enjoyed this wonderful session, please go ahead and give a thumbs up in the chat. Let me see some fire emojis, child hearts, all the things. It was such a dynamic session, and I just see myself also leaning in myself and hopefully being able to add some of this wonderfulness to Mentor Me Collective. So we had some questions come up. Super excited about that. I'm going to bring our first question onto the stage.
Uh-huh.
Amos had a question. As an entry level professional in tech, for instance, how can
As
I
in,
boost or improve the
okay.
engagement and reach of my content to help me share more effectively what I can do and easily land a job?
Okay, so someone who is starting as an entry level professional in tech. So basically, I would recommend you to start creating content. Like initially begin by creating it for LinkedIn platform, as you want to get land upon a job easily. So your focus, if your main intent behind is to land upon a job and then reach a lot of people is something, then you should always focus on LinkedIn. LinkedIn, it's somewhere you could grow a community, and then for that you can create content related to it. So when you're in tech, you have a lot of programs out there which are supporting these kind of things. So as we know, women tech makers is out there. So if you're a male, then you could also start by other Google programs that are already available. So you could sign up to it, you could start creating content related to it. You could even get into hackathons. You could get into courses and then create content relevant to it. So there was a person I knew. What he basically did was he created a journey. When he started off, he had just a few K followers. I would definitely drop down his name once I like recall it. So what he basically did is he started where he created a 21 days program and he started showcasing his journey. Like basically, he said that he's gonna show how he grows and how he's gonna build his own startup. And also, a best example I could give over here is Farza's Build Space. So this person, what he tried to do is he created a platform called Build Space where he promoted ideas. Basically, he created a community where people would come, they would create content, they would create work on their ideas together. So it's about showcasing in your journey. So as an entry level professional, now maybe you must have just passed out of your college, or maybe you're just trying to get a job. So first you should always focus on showcasing your journey, how you're trying to get there, what are the few projects you're working on. When you try to showcase your projects, is it's something and all of those things, it will definitely contribute. So create content around your journey, around your projects, around all of those factors. So that will definitely help you. factors, and that will definitely catch the attention of the relevant people in the industry as well.
I think that was an incredible answer. Amos, I hope that also answered your question. We have another question in the chat from Dennis. It was around, well, this is the question. Are there any examples for the future of content, point four, that you can share?
Um, the one in the PPT. Just a second.
I believe it was from the slide that you were talking about the future of content. If you all can let me know, are we freezing or am I freezing or is our speaker freezing? Give us a thumbs up or down. I just want to make sure that.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, exploring neural interfaces, revolutionizing engagement. Programs like, so you have TensorFlow, you have other LLM based things. So basically, it is about CGI or like computer generated neural networks and all of those kind of content. So it is about brain computer content consumption. Basically, how for example, like now Meta has launched their product, so metaverse, so you could focus on that. Then you have those brain chips which are recently trending, so that is also a thing which comes under this umbrella. Also thought to content translation, so there could be devices that could translate your thoughts into content, and so it is about that kind of content. Then comes direct neural engagement, so all of those things comes under this kind of umbrella, where you try to bring forth the innovative technologies that most of the people might have not heard about, and something they might be missing upon. So all of those innovative technologies. I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. I think that was very in depth. Dennis, let us know if that answered your question. We have another question from Lameek. Where do I start to create content in a space like LinkedIn that will make visible in cybersecurity space without appearing to regurgitate what is obvious? I wonder if he's asking like how can he differentiate
Okay,
himself.
so when you're trying to create so what kind of service are you providing in the cybersecurity space matters a lot. Basically, if you're just trying to provide me with an VPN service or something which is like a basic antivirus, that is something that won't fascinate me. So when you're trying to provide me something in the cybersecurity space, it should be something that is out of the crowd, which stands out, unique, interesting. So basically it could be starting off with something more personalized, how you are trying to not just focus on the big giants, but obviously on a personal ground, how you're trying to provide the service for like the basic people to like the elite ones. So it should be something relevant to it, I would say. You could just focus on how you could create content related to it. Then would be trying to showcase about how you're providing that kind of service. Like basically, when you could create a series, maybe. I would definitely recommend creating a series of how, understanding the vulnerability gaps and trying to, clear those gaps and trying to provide service related to it. Creators where you try to find people who have been attacked, attempts out there, whose accounts have been hacked, whose they have been under digital arrest, maybe they have their accounts hacked. So how can you protect those kind of people is a question that arises. So you could maybe focus on finding those kind of people, understanding the gaps out there, understanding the vulnerability gaps, and according to that, what are the searches they'll be looking for, what are the kind of solutions they'll be looking forward to. According to that, now how you can plan your content, how you will be providing the service to them, and how you stand out of the crowd. It's something is that's gonna make you the purple cow in the grass.
I think those are all really
Like,
incredible
yeah,
strategies.
basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, didn't want to cut you off. There's one more question that I would like to ask before we end. I know we're pretty much at time, and I just want to say thank you so much for this impactful session. Um, oh man, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened, but hopefully she is able to come on back in the room. Oh man, we might have then the connection might have dropped, but it's okay. Thank you all for tuning in to this wonderful Workshop Wednesday session. I know we normally have our sessions around 6 or 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is new. This is a new space that we're in. So we appreciate it. We really appreciate it. And I just want to say as well, please come back. We'd love to see you every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Or maybe we'll have sprinkles of early afternoon sessions like this one as well. We'd love to also hear from you. What are some topics or what kind of content are you all looking for that we can provide to you all so that you have the ability to learn from other people who could potentially be your mentors, but ultimately that you can level up in your career, okay? Because it's all about retention out here. Not only are you getting into tech, but you're staying in tech. So we love you all so much. We appreciate you all for being a part of this. Please go ahead and give us a thumbs up. If you really appreciate it and love this content, just go ahead and give us a thumbs up on our YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help us to get to that space of monetization. Amen. Amen. And if you have not already done so, we are currently accepting applications for our Grow with Google cohort, our fourth cohort. So we have 500 scholarships that we're looking to give for free for you to learn with us, grow with us, and also be mentored by individuals in our community. So please, if you have not already done so, head over to our website at mentormecollective.org. Go ahead and click on programs. You'll see the Grow with Google program, and you can submit your application there as well. For those of you who are looking to continue to connect with the most amazing Anuradha, I hope I'm even saying that right, but she's amazing. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the chat here. Here is her LinkedIn. So please go ahead and connect with wonderful, wonderful, wonderful queen that she is. If you have additional questions, I want to say, and any kind of additional conversations you want to have, as you can see, super well versed, super experienced, and honestly, I learned so much today, so I'm so excited. We all should be learning something new every day. So with that being said, we look forward to seeing you all later on tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Tarzine. We're going to lean into design thinking for founders and creatives. How can you make sure that you're amplifying your voice and leveraging your marketing to hit your target audience from a design thinking standpoint? So we look forward to seeing you all. Until next time, au revoir.